Okay, well let's get to it. Let's talk about Viren's arc. Okay, let's just talk about Viren. Okay, so what just like overall from like the beginning to now, what are your thoughts on Viren's kind of growth as a character?
I mean, I think it's so compelling. I mean, I hate to always speak in terms of like Avatar: The Last Airbender references, but like I think in this case it's justified because the shows are rough parallels. Ahas was, of course, the lead writer on Avatar, and Viren. I mean, if Soren is basically a version of Zuko, and Claudia is definitely a version of Azula, that makes Viren a much more morally complicated version of Ozai.
Yeah,
Which I think that that feels right. Like, I
there's a
mean,
lot of parallels there. Like they are by no stretch of the imagination are they the same character, but there are definitely yeah a lot of parallels between them. Like even down to like the conquest concept, which is kind of hinted at in season 3 of the show. That even that idea, or the need for power, or the way he uses his family and leads them down a bad path, mistreats his son. There's a lot of parallels for sure between Viren and Ozai. That would make a really good video. Have you made that video yet? Am I tripping?
I think I've talked about it a bit. I'm not really sure if I've made a video just about that
I was
topic.
just imagining one of your thumbnails with like Ozai and Viren, and then a little black text at the bottom, a little black bar with the text, like
Yeah,
Viren and
I
Ozai
mean, that's
parallels
exactly
analysis. I was like, did I watch that? Is that something you've already
I
done?
don't know. I mean, I must say I kind of lose track of half the videos I make.
Oh,
Like,
for real. I feel that. Oh my gosh. I used to make those meme videos, and every so often I would go off on like a little tangent about some like random theory or something about the show, and I'll get a comment like 3 years later. Some guy will say something about that one of the things in that video, and I'll read his comment, and I'll be like, "What is he talking about? Did I say something in there? I must have said something in there. I have no idea what I said, so I just like it. I'm like, good idea,
yeah,
good thought,
yeah, just to completely
for
forget. But
sure."
I mean, I do think Viren as a character is kind of an attempt. I don't know an intentional attempt, but it has to be at least semi-intentional to kind of like build a conception of Ozai who is, you know, more interesting than just a pure villain type. You know, so,
Right.
someone who can whose psychology you can really contemplate and really think about and really drill into. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what drives someone like this to to do what he does? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
like someone who's like not the worst person in the world, you know, so someone
Right.
who has a lot of positive qualities, a lot of qualities we can genuinely respect, and yet what happens to him happens to him. Like, honestly, one thing I do kind of wish is that we would kind of play with the parallels between Callum and Viren a little more, because I mean
Same.
there are similarities there, and of course Callum takes over Viren's old position as the Archmage. I mean he gets the mirror of Erebos.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more that could be done with
I think
that.
didn't we talk about this? I think we talked about this in the last time we spoke, where I was like they're clearly establishing these parallels, and then I was like, but to what end? Like what are they going to say? And then I feel like even in this season we see more of that kind of idea. We see
Yeah.
Viren in his like dream state talking about doing whatever it takes to protect his people. Then we later see Callum make that same choice, turning the chains into snakes to save Rayla and his other people. So we see him use dark magic for that same reason. So we're definitely seeing these parallels are continuing more abstractly, which I would prefer it to be that way than literal visual this just recreating shots with the character in the same clothes. I would prefer it to be a little bit more uh nuanced than than literally recreating shots. Not that there's anything wrong with it; it's just preference. But yeah. Well, what do you think that? Where do you think they're going with this? What do you think is their end game here?
Hmm. Like with the parallels between Callum and Viren, you
What
mean?
are they going to end up trying to say? Like say something meaningful. Like what are they gonna? What is the purpose? Like, any ideas?
Uh,
I'm at a loss.
I mean, how do I put this? Like, obviously, I don't think Callum is going to end up going down as dark and as
Right.
morally dubious a path as Viren, but like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I like Callum. I like Callum a lot as a character, but like, he has never struck me as the kind of person who is going to be as pulled into temptation as Viren was. You know, I
Hmm.
mean, he doesn't really have, at least to me, that kind of ceaseless drive. That insatiable will to make things right according to what he believes to be right. That desire to,
Hmm.
kind of move heaven and earth if you have to like
Right.
try to war against all the injustices he has suffered and he's witnessed.
You know what it reminds me of in a lot of ways? It reminds me of in Return of the Jedi, when the
Hmm.
Emperor is offering Luke, like, strike down your father and take my place, take his place at my side, and have power of the dark side, and all this stuff. And it's just weird because, Luke as a character just never really wanted power
Yeah,
that
yeah.
much. Yeah, so it's weird. So it's also similar, like, it definitely seems that Viren wanted power, right? Where there are similarities with, I suppose there's an interpretation that you could make, because they are establishing how much Callum wants knowledge, even forbidden knowledge or bad knowledge, like knowing the
Yes.
the dragon killing spell. So they're kind of setting that up to where he just wants to know it. I presumably just to know it, just to have the knowledge. So we could definitely we need like an element of tragedy that's really gonna push him over the edge, and that could be season 6. That might be season 6. Uh,
Rayla dies.
Rayla dies, Ez gets
I'm not quite sure if
paralyzed,
that would happen.
Catullus gets burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Something big that makes him snap. Uh, that would be, I think, a fulfillment of kind of where we're heading. But
Yeah.
also, I suppose maybe it's not for Callum's benefit, but it's for Viren's benefit. Maybe what they're
Hmm.
trying to illustrate is that Viren was once like Callum, instead of Callum is going to become like Viren. Maybe we're looking at this flipped
Hmm.
around, and what they're just trying to say is like, look, he was a cool little nice boy too at one point in time, and then just fell down that dark path.
Oh, interesting, interesting. I will say I really loved all of the Viren kind of dream, nightmare, surreal flashback sequences, but I especially love the ones when we see him like and with his kids when they were much younger, especially that very heartbreaking little scene with like very young Soren when
Mm-hmm.
Soren gets very sick and Viren uses his dark magic, and we see how much Viren really cared about Soren, which, I mean, we kind of got hints of that before, but just seeing it so
Mm-hmm.
vividly just really
Right.
broke my heart.
Right, and I think there's a lot of subtext there that would make for a really good video, because I think what where they're gonna go with this, and whether this is in a season 5 novelization, or a graphic novel, or one of these reflection stories or something. I don't think it's gonna be in the show, but I think that basically what's gonna happen is in the novel it talks about how Lissa left his wife, left him shortly after Viren got better from being sick. So I think the implication is just deriving from all the different pieces of information that he used dark magic to save Soren, that ruined his marriage, and now he, in some level, blames Soren for all the wrongs that has gone on since that point. And then since his son is this big dummy, constantly letting him down, and he's like, "Gosh, I did all this for you." Like, I can see that that's probably the direction they're gonna go. Whether that's just gonna be subtext or it's gonna be text in some at some point, I don't know. But I think that that's a pretty safe uh, idea to kind of derive from the material, the bits of material we've
Yeah.
gotten.
Yeah, so I mean, I certainly wouldn't mind seeing more of Viren, but I mean, I think his story is finished. I think it's come to a very natural, tragic, almost
Hmm.
noble conclusion. Like it just feels right. Like I don't need more than that. Like it's
Right. So you're saying that you would be satisfied if we pick up in season 6, they can't find him, and he's just gone.
yeah,
He's died. That was
yeah, I would
his last
be
scene.
yeah, I would be fine to
I
not
would be
see Viren for
satisfied
the
with that
rest of
as
the
well.
show.
Yeah, I would be fine with that as well.